Hi, we're here for our next pop-up talk, and it is with Cecilia Lemos. Go.
All right. So since we are talking, we're doing the pop-up talks for the TDC, for teacher development. And the people in the morning, they talked about ways that they worked with teacher development in their own development in other teachers. I thought I should focus on that. So I thought about during today's plenary, Paula Rebellado's plenary, she talked about teacher empowerment. And she asked us to think about what teacher empowerment meant to us. And she talked about definitions and things like that. And she gave a definition that says that teacher empowerment is a process whereby teachers develop autonomy, keyword there, bold, underlined, to make decisions and exercise their professional judgment about how, again, bold, underline, and what to teach. Now, I like that definition, but I try to put it into my words, into me. Teacher empowerment is helping teachers become the very best teachers that they can be. And it's all about helping teachers find their teaching confidence. It's all about helping teachers become confident about themselves, knowing that they're good teachers, knowing that they have their flaws, knowing what they're awesome at, what they can improve. For me, the best tool that I've ever had in my life as a teacher and now as a trainer is observation and feedback. And it's one of the reasons I'm so passionate about observation and feedback, for those of you who know me. Now, I didn't always like observation. We were just on Simon Brewster's talk now. He said that observation, being observed and evaluated, is the factor that causes more stress among teachers. And I only have to agree with that because I know how stressed we get. As I said, I didn't always enjoy being observed. In the beginning of my teaching career, like 5 years ago or so, I hated, I shook, I had, my heart started beating faster and I got so nervous and I would stumble on my words and everything would go wrong nothing would work as in the lesson plan, my students, because I hated it. I knew I was being evaluated. I knew the feedback was very, very judgmental and pointing out the things that I'd done wrong, so I knew that. I felt all the pressure. What changed that made me actually love being observed is that I had the fortune of having a coordinator who took observation as a very formative and helpful and human tool. And it changed my view, and I'd like to share that a little bit. So I think we have to separate the two things, right? So for observation has to always be non-threatening, and being non-threatening doesn't mean it's non-evaluative. Sometimes it can be non-evaluative when you're doing peer observation and you're doing it to just help others. But it can be evaluative, because I think it is a nice tool for schools to see if the lessons are going aligned with the school's principles and philosophy and everything. But it should be non-threatening in the way that it's not that one observation that's going to get you fired or promoted. You know that the observation is part of a process, a development process, and you're going to be given feedback each time, whether you're progressing on that or not. I think that if the teacher knows that it's not that one lesson that's going to change his or her future, he will feel more comfortable about it. They will feel more comfortable about it. Observation needs to be done regularly so that it doesn't become a big thing. It's oh yeah, you're coming again. It's okay, I'm being observed again. The regularity of being observed creates this kind of ease with it. I used to be terrified of flying, and because of work, I fly like 4 times a week now, and I don't even care about the taking off and landing anymore. So there's a little bit of the numbing there. Observation has to be focused on the development of the teacher and not just the students. it's mostly, you're looking at the development of the teacher. You're not looking at the progress of the students, even though the progress of the students can be used as whether you, anyway. Okay. The focus of the observation has to be negotiated, I think, with the teacher that's being observed. So as the director or the coordinator of the school, I know what I want to, but I'll talk to you and say, here, I want to look into your classroom management. What do you think we can focus on? What can I help you with? So, because if the teacher feels like you're giving a hand and you're there to help him with, or her, with something that they're having difficulty with, he will be more open to being observed. The other thing is that we have always to keep in mind that observation is always nerve-wracking, and things will never go exactly as they usually do, because teachers know they're being observed, students know that it's strange, there is a foreign body in the room. Now, the other part is feedback. Feedback needs to be reflective all the time. Marcela's pop-up talk, she talked about being, reflecting about our own teaching. So feedback should be absolutely reflective. It's a dialogue. Development is dialogic. So it's a dialogue between the observed and the observer. What happened? Why? How come you did this here and this there? Because you're trying to understand why the teacher made decisions. The whole thing about what Paula said about teacher autonomy and teacher empowerment, the autonomy, I think it goes through that, through the teacher being able to explain decisions of how and what they did in class. The feedback has to be human, so it is a person that you're talking to. It's not just a machine. And I think it has to have a product. On Vicky's pop-up talk, she talked about, she told us how she developed on her own, to organize her own development. She created an action plan for herself. And I think that every feedback after a lesson being observed should have SMART, so specific, measurable, but should have an action plan of things that don't put a lot of weight or work on the teachers, but that can help them with the aspects that you notice in class that the teacher can improve. My main point is observation helps because there's always room for improvement. We can always be better at something. We can always be better teachers. We have to aim at that. Otherwise, if we think there's no place, there's nowhere to go from here, I mean, what's the point? We're here for the journey. We're here for the learning, right? And I'm very happy now because my job allows me to observe teachers nearly every single day, and I can see the difference that my advice, that my suggestions and my action plans and my support makes in their profession, in their practices, and it's super rewarding, and that's why I love what I do.
Thank you. Yay.
That makes sense.